Welcome to the Legacy Crusaders YouTube channel. My name is Benji, and today we're going to go over 5 things you might want to know about Mirrorjade the Iceblade Dragon. Mirrorjade is a Dark Worm level 8 fusion effect monster with 3000 attack and 2500 defense. Its fusion material is the Fallen of Albaz, and 1 fusion synchro Xyz or link monster with the following effect. You can only control 1 Mirrorjade. Mirrorjade has a quick effect, that you can send 1 fusion monster that mentions the Fallen of Albaz from your extra deck to the graveyard as a cost, to banish 1 monster on the field. Also, you cannot use this effect during your next turn. If this fusion summon card would leave the field by an opponent's card, you can activate this effect. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls during the end phase. I first want to discuss the first part of the effect, which is that you can only control 1 Mirrorjade. This means you cannot attempt to summon a Mirrorjade while you already control a Mirrorjade. This is whether you were trying to fusion summon another one with polymerization, or to revive it from the graveyard using Monster Reborn. You may have seen a similar but different scenario, where a player might use Branded in Red to fuse an ad libitum of despia in their hand with the Mirrorjade into a Masquerade. Masquerade would be properly summoned, and that would trigger the effect of ad lib, which they can then use to special summon the banished Mirrorjade. This would be allowed because after the fusion summon of Masquerade was successful, Mirrorjade is no longer on the field, therefore ad lib could be used to special summon back the Mirrorjade. Additionally, this newly summoned Mirrorjade can now use its effect even if the previous one had already used its effect, because Mirrorjade's effect is not a hard once per turn. Every copy of Mirrorjade can use its effect once per every other turn. Also important to note is that because this Mirrorjade was not properly fusion summoned, when it leaves the field it cannot activate the effect to destroy all of your opponent's monsters during the end phase. A second tip on Mirrorjade is that there are actually a couple of ways to keep Mirrorjade from being able to activate its effect to destroy all monsters on the field at the end phase. If your opponent's playing Mirrorjade, and you try to do one of the following things in order to prevent it from activating, that might be something you'd want to know about. First, it's an effect that activates when the card leaves the field by an opponent's card. So if you activate Abyss Dweller, your opponent won't be able to activate the effect of Mirrorjade during the end phase. Mirrorjade's effect does not activate when it leaves the field and is sent to the extra deck, because cards that return to the extra deck are in a private location, and private knowledge locations cannot determine that the card had come from the field. This rule occurred during the Master Rule revisions of April 2020. So you can prevent Mirrorjade from being able to activate its effect by either shuffling it back into the extra deck or using a card that would return it to the hand, such as a Nightmare Unicorn or a Dracoback the Rideable Dragon, or a compulsory evacuation device. My third tip is to note that Mirrorjade can activate its effect if it leaves the field by any method that belongs to your opponent, not only a card effect. Otherwise, its effect would say a card effect, and not just by an opponent's card. That means if Mirrorjade is sent to the graveyard by a Kaiju, or for the summon of a Chimeratech Megafleet Dragon by linking it off, or for the summon of the Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, Mirrorjade will be able to activate its effect in the graveyard and be able to destroy all monsters on the field during the end phase. A fourth tip is just because you don't have any monsters on the field when Mirrorjade is sent to the graveyard doesn't mean you can't activate its effect in the end phase. So if your Mirrorjade is Kaiju'd while you control no monsters, it's not illegal for your opponent to activate its effect. This is similar to how you were able to activate the effect of Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer after summoning it using Verte Anaconda. Verte Anaconda says you can't special summon any monsters for the rest of the turn, but if you were to activate Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer to destroy itself and the Verte Anaconda, you would be able to activate the effect to summon the Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer during the next turn, because this turn and that turn have nothing to do with one another. Similar to how destroying all monsters on your field during the end phase has nothing to do with how many monsters are on your field when the Mirrorjade was sent to the graveyard. The next thing I'd like to mention is that Mirrorjade the Iceblade Dragon is an excellent out to Psychic End Punisher, which is a new card that came out recently. It's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects if their life points are lower than yours. But because Mirrorjade's effect in the end phase to destroy all monsters on the field is not an activated effect, it's a resolving effect that's already been activated, it will be able to affect Psychic End Punisher and can destroy it during the end phase. Some decks have a lot of trouble dealing with Psychic End Punisher, and this is a way to be able to deal with it using a Mirrorjade. If Mirrorjade sends a monster from the extra deck to the graveyard to banish a monster, you can't revive the monster sent to the graveyard by Mirrorjade because it was not summoned properly. The same thing is true if you were to send a monster to the graveyard using the effect of the Dear Servant, such as by sending a Masquerade the Blazing Dragon to the graveyard, you cannot activate its effect to special summon itself from the graveyard because it was not summoned properly. Something else that happens occasionally, and it's pretty funny, is that if you activate Mirrorjade and your opponent removes all of their monsters from the field, and the only monster on the field to banish is the Mirrorjade has to resolve if its effect was not negated. A scenario in which I witnessed this occur is that a Mirrorjade was on the board, and the opposing player activated their effect of their Ray and tributed itself to summon a Sky Striker Link monster from the extra deck, and the opposing player activated the effect of Mirrorjade. Mirrorjade then needed to resolve and banish a monster on the field. It had to banish itself, and then Ray resolved summoning a Sky Striker Ace Hayate. So you must be very careful to ensure that Mirrorjade is not the only monster on the field, unless you want to banish your Mirrorjade from the field. There's a play where you activate Mirrorjade to banish a card on the field, and then you activate Fairy Tale Snow to banish all of your monsters on the field, so that when it resolves, the Mirrorjade will banish your Fairy Tale Snow, leaving you with no monsters. It's an interesting out for when your opponent activates Mystic Mine against you. Let me know in the comments what you would like to hear 5 tips about in the future. And I want to say thank you to Grie Velorn for your support on Patreon.